Welcome to Camping with the Professor. I'm the Professor, and I'm about to go camping. I'm headed to Land Between the Lakes. It is one of my favorite spots to go camping at, and because there's so many dispersed camping spots available there. And I found a new one that I enjoy, and I've gone there a couple of times already, truck camping, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you a great spot for truck camping. First off, you need a four-wheel drive, and I'll show you the road in. It's not that bad, but it is not that great, and there are a couple of spots that if you don't have four-wheel drive, I can't guarantee you're going to get in there. It's been about a year since I did a video for camping, but that doesn't mean I haven't been camping. I just haven't made any videos of it. I like to do backpack camping, car camping, camper camping, so any type of camping really I find enjoyable. Primitive camping, being outdoors is a lot of fun for me. I enjoy sitting around a campfire and just enjoying the view, the sights, and just the quiet of it all. Waiting at a traffic light. I'm not sure what I'm waiting on. So far, as you can see, this road isn't too bad. I do recommend four-wheel drive because, you know, if you get back here and it's muddy and it's rainy, you might have some difficulty. But there's a spot coming up, and it's usually washed out, and there's usually standing water. So I wouldn't try to do it without four-wheel drive. Just because I think it's swampy and I think you're going to get bogged down. I mean, this is a great drive out here. So this road heads to Nolan Landing. There's a couple of pull-offs to the side, and you see they've got big rocks off to the side blocking the path so you can't drive. You could probably take an off-road, like a bike, or you could hike it, but you definitely aren't supposed to get a motorized vehicle down that road. It's, you know, it's just gorgeous down here. Now this is south of Nolan's Ridge to a place called Nolan's Landing, and there's a kayak put-in point here that is just great. This would be a good spot on the east side, on the Tennessee side, just to come down here, park, and put a kayak into water and then paddle around. I think you're off the main channel out here, but I found this by just, I don't know, I looked at it on a map. I didn't realize what was down here, and I drove down here, and this was just such a nice spot. And then I began realizing that other people, you know, when you get familiar with a spot out here and you watch other videos that are people take out here, you begin recognizing when somebody's in a spot you've been to. And that's what happened with this, is I started seeing that other people were going to this spot and making videos at the spot, and I'm like, well, hopefully they don't overpopulate this and it's not too hard to get in. But being a weekday, having just rained for 3 days, I don't anticipate anybody really wanting to be down here other than me. So we'll find out here in a minute, I guess. We're getting near the end, and you see the washouts where you get the rough rocks and everything. Now there's a campsite here. The only problem is if you're camping here, you need to be truck camping. You need to bring a lot of water and everything. I don't bring water. I filter my water, so this isn't a good spot for me because this is way up on a hill, and I would have to go all the way down the hill just to get water. And again, these little washouts, you know, I wouldn't come down here with it. Maybe if you had an all-wheel drive, like one of the little crossover SUVs or something, I don't think you would have a problem with that to this point so far. You know, even maybe a two-wheel, I don't know that I would want to chance a two-wheel drive down here, especially if it gets rainy and really, really wet. This is where I say this is where I would not start taking, you know, just a regular vehicle. I'd be afraid I would bottom it out and or high center and just be stuck. This is where I feel like you really do need a four-wheel drive. I've gone through this a couple of times. It is not that shallow. It's not that deep, but you know, see, that's not something you want to, you know, that's not something you want to stop halfway through. Yeah, definitely going to need a car wash after this. So yeah, that back there, I just don't think you want to do that without four-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive, I just would be afraid to get stuck halfway across that. But we're coming down the hill towards the campsite. A lot of good cedar trees up here. Cedar bark is great for fire starting as a tinder bundle. So I want a source of that really close by if I can get it. And well, fudge. Looks like there's somebody down here. Well, let's take a look and see what we got. Well, they were not camping or fishing. They were just exploring. So I am in my spot for the night. So this is the spot. This is Nolan's Landing, and you can see, you know, from up here, I parked my truck up on this hill, and looking down the hill, you know, it goes right to this little peninsula that heads off into the water. This is facing east out through here. But, you know, there's somebody's built a little fire ring here. You know, I would rather it be further up the hill, but, you know, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to leave it here. You know, I have a habit of moving fire rings to where I want. But this one I'm just going to leave. You see other people have been here, so it's obviously used. They left their trash. That was nice of them. I'll take care of that and throw that in the back of my truck and take care of it when I leave here. I've got some small stuff here that's great for tinder. You know, it's been raining for 3 days, so a lot of the stuff that's really close to the ground is wet, but I think I can make this work. They left some wood here. You know, it's a good pile. I could burn that most of the night, but it's been laying here getting rained on, so it's damp. But, you know, I'll split it down and get to the inside and burn that up. But I want to get started first. Well, let's take a look at what I got for the camp first. The first thing I always do, I keep just a little loop alien with some 550 cord and a little cheap aluminum carabiner, and I just use that to hang my pack up. I've got, that way I keep it off the ground. And what do you know? Look at that. There's that sun there's that sun we were promised that we have not seen all day. It's damp. It's not really cold, but it's not comfortable. If that sun comes out and stays out, that would be great. But since it's not so far, I'm going to start a fire and just get it going out. I got plenty of wood, but you know, these are less than ideal conditions, and that's what I came out here to do, was to see if I can get a fire using primitive fire starting methods, mostly flint and steel, because that's what my preferred method, in these less than ideal conditions. Everything is damp. You know, the last time I did this, it was dry as a bone, and it was really easy to get a fire started because it was so dry out here. But this time I'm going to do it with what I got. Now, I have wood that's dry. The purpose here is to see if I can get a fire established. And I'm not going to use that wood until I've got a fire established. So first thing, I need a tinder bundle. And I mentioned on the way in, this is cedar, and this cedar bark, see how fibrous that is? That is all dry, because that's the first thing that dries, especially on the sun side. You know, this outside is so lightweight, it dries really easy, and this is great for collecting to make a bird's nest. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to start pulling this and get enough that I can make a nice little bird nest. Okay, so let me get started with that. So on my quest for fire, some more people came up. This is a popular spot. Some more folks came up, and they just looked around and left. There's some guys out here fishing. The sun has come out a little bit. I've collected some tinder. I've got some kindling that I've bundled up. Split down some stuff to get to the dry on the inside. So we're real dry on the inside of this wood, and hopefully we'll have plenty. And I've taken the rest of that to pile around and let it dry out as this fire burns. So I'm gonna see if I can get this thing started using just my flint and steel. And you know, and as a bonus, last time I was here, my water filtration system, I have a hose that I use for a gravity drain, and I lost the little washer out of it. So my water filtration was leaking the whole time, so it was less than efficient, and I was just leaking water. Well, what do you know? I come out here again. Look what I found on the ground. What are the odds of that? I found it just right over there, which is where I had unloaded everything, and I was pretty sure I'd lost it over there somewhere, but you know, the leaves covered it up and it was gone. So well, there's the luck for today. Let's see if it holds up. Hopefully I didn't use up all of my luck. So let me see if I can get this fire started. All right, I'll take this and let me just stick that over there. All right. So I don't think I'm gonna need a whole lot of stuff to get this started. We'll see if the gamble pays off. As a backup, I've got my flint and I've got my ferro rod if I need to, and I've got some cheater if I need to, but let's see if I can get by without it. Now, for my, I've got a little jute twine there too. I keep everything in a little Ziploc bag so that I can keep it dry. And this is my char cloth, and I've rolled these up so that I get a really good burn on them. If I get it ignited, it'll burn for quite a while. So I've got my tinder bundle here, and this is just that cedar bark that I've collected. And if you've seen how I do this in the past, the whole key to flint and steel is you want to graze the flint with the steel. You want to shave off pieces of the steel to create sparks. And you want a nice sharp edge. So I've got a sharp edge right there. Let's see if I can get it. And I just hold my char cloth right there, because char cloth will take a spark real easy if I get it right. If I can get a good spark to land. Boom. There we go. Look at that. I've got a good ember going. A good ember. And so I take that ember and apply it. Add a little more air to it. There we go. And just like that. And I'm just going to keep feeding small stuff onto this and letting it build up, and until I've got a nice big fire there. I keep adding a little more air, and I want this to end up so big that it starts to self-sustain. There we go. Raining for 3 days, damp conditions. Just picking up junk off the ground. Grabbing wood, splitting it down. So what's the key? The key is having a nice tinder bundle to work with. Some good dry kindling. And preparation. You need to have good dry char cloth to start with. If your char cloth isn't dry, it won't catch. If it's too humid, it will not catch. So that's why I keep it in the plastic and keep it ready to go. Good, good. I feel good about that. That's good. The day is starting off pretty good. Now, a lot of this is still damp, and you can hear it burning off. So that's why I'm just going to keep on putting more on so that it'll dry. Whew. All right, well, I think that's got it. That's good. Here we go. So I built a little tripod, and I mean, it's nothing fancy, but I had some chains. So here's the thing, that little cook surface is so small, it's really hard to get to really get anything to sit level with that. It's very tricky. So I found some old chains that, you know, they're really small, they're lightweight, they pack up, and I'm going to try them out, and we're going to see if I can cook on this tonight. And I mean, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's just 550 cord, some janky stuff, but it's only meant to be here for a day. So, you know, I'm not trying to build a monument here. But that's it. They are not supposed to be hunting this close to a camp spot. They are way too close. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You hear how close that is? That's ridiculous. Well, if I can not get shot today, that'd be cool. I'm having an Alpine Air rice and bean bowl with chicken. We'll see how that goes. If I can avoid getting shot. So I also roasted some peanuts that I'll throw in there, and we'll see how that comes out. I just got to wait another 10, 12 minutes. Well, lesson for today. I don't know. Keep your head down. So the guys that were hunting, they just drove up here, picked up their dogs. They had 2 dogs, I guess, and put them back in the truck. And drove off. I don't know the hunting rules, but I don't think they're supposed to be that close to the road. I mean, you don't hunt from your truck. So I don't think they were. But I'm not a hunter. I don't know the rules. I don't get upset about people hunting. I mean, that's how you keep all the wildlife from just overpopulating an area, going hungry. Deer have been really, really heavy this year. But there we go. So there's been a lot of deer out, but like I said, I don't mind if you hunt. Just don't shoot me. So this is great. This rice and bean bowl with chicken, Alpine Air. This is delicious. Just needs a little salt. Everything needs salt, doesn't it? I put the peanuts in there. I didn't really need to do that. That's didn't need it. Just needed salt. But it does add some texture to it. And I mean, this came out perfect. I mean, this is great consistency. I love beans and rice. The salt, definitely need a little salt. This is great. This I would totally do again. And this time, I didn't even cook it with the dehydration packet in it. So that's a win. So, and I'll put the footage up later. I got a drone. Oh, that's good. I got a drone for Christmas, and I took it up, and I'll put up some shots. It's a beginner's drone. It's there's no image stabilization, so it's it's a little shaky, but that's great. That's fine. First drone I've ever had. And of course, I get it stuck in the tree over there. It drifted a little because of the wind, and so it started carrying it, and I was trying to correct it and get it out. And then I just tried to get out through, it was just kind of, there was nowhere I was going to be able to go, so I tried to sneak it out through a little hole in the branches. And of course, once it catches a limb, that's it. It loses all the lift, and it ended up upside down in the tree. And I'm throwing a stick with a piece of 550 cord attached to it to pull it down. But it's fine. It didn't damage it. I might fly it again a little later. I'm a little leery though. I'm like, man, I don't want to get out over the water and then lose it. I'm still learning, but there's a lot of trees. So I don't know. I might find me a nice little spot and see if I can get up and get some shots from altitude. Like I said, I'm still learning. So Holy Stone 710. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. But I love it. I'm having a blast with it. It is a lot of fun. So today is just unbelievably nice. It's been raining for 3 days. Like I said, it's December 30th. And I'm at what's Nolan Landing. I'll call it Camp Scarlet. If you saw the last video I did, I named my camping sites so that I can remember them. Camp Scarlet, named after one of our dogs. And I've taken her with me camping before. She loves it. She loves sleeping in a hammock. Get a dachshund and let it sleep in a hammock. It'll love you. She was a little iffy at first, but then she calmed down. So I got here. I got set up. I built a little tripod. Now for boiling water, that worked like a fart in a whirlwind. That did not work for boiling water. But I do have a steak for later tonight, so I think it'll go good for that. I just put my cup in the coals and it worked great. I've been burning all that wood that was left here. That wood was garbage on the outside. It's all moss covered bark, but the inside is very dry and good. It's good wood. So I just split it up. So that way I've got that good inside surface area that I can deal with. And the fire's just been roaring ever since. It's great. But like I said, it's December 30th. I was out here 2 weeks ago and it was in the 70s. Low 70s. It was 74 on Christmas, and today it's in the upper 60s. You know, I think it was 67, 69 degrees, somewhere in there. It is just unbelievably mild December. Now, this is Tennessee. Our cold seasons tend to be January and February, and even into March. So that's I'm taking advantage of this while I can. I'm finished eating this, and then maybe we'll take a walk around, and I'll show you around the this campsite. Well, I moved the truck a little bit so that I wanted it to block in case somebody else comes down, and kind of block out my camp a little bit. Leaves this open. So I kind of got an idea that, you know, if other people were to come up here, it's not very level. It's got a downward slope. So for tents, it's, you know, it would be troublesome. It's not super downhill, but it's not level. But it's a nice little spot. And, you know, I'm able to bring my truck here and come right up this little rise here. And so I come in over here and just come across this little, it's like a little peninsula here, and then I just come up this little bump and get up here into this spot. And then, you know, it's just a nice little walk down to the water. You know, the sun, that sunset is getting ready to come in. But, you know, people come over here and they camp, and there's some spots here that people have camped at. You can see where they've had fires built. But, yeah, I mean, this, if you look, yeah, it's a gorgeous sunset. Just such a beautiful day. Now, like I said, this is a great spot if you're going to put in a kayak. That's not the other side of the river. That's actually an island in the middle. The main channel's on the other side. So at night, something I've noticed, you don't get barge traffic through here. You get boats and people fishing and stuff, but you know, this is really shallow up here. So, you know, I've seen a couple of boats out here already, and you know, everybody's just kind of minded their own. They're really quiet. They're just out here fishing. And then you see it comes into this little inlet. There's an inlet here, right here. And then this is an inlet. There's no way out through here. This is just a little inlet. And then out there runs back and forth. And like I said, that's a little island. And on the other side is the main channel for the Cumberland River. So this is the Lake Barkley side. This is the east side. So sunsets are going to be kind of blocked by the hills, but the sunrise, I was out here and I happened to get up. I don't usually wake up early, but I happened to get up, and it was just a gorgeous sunrise. But yeah, this is really nice. It's just a great spot. And if you're car camping, you know, this is just beautiful for car camping. If you're looking to put in a kayak, this is beautiful. Like I said, this is up this way. Further that way north is Nolan's Ridge. There's actually an access road that goes around a loop on Nolan's Ridge. And then this is considered Nolan's Landing. And you see it's one of the water trails. And of course you've got the rules for being out on the water. Now the water, I'm told that this is winter pool, so it's really low, but I'm told that in the summer the water is all the way up here. You know, you can see that it comes all the way up here, so you can almost, I've been told, you can back up and just put your kayak right in the water and then park over to the side. I imagine when it's at flood stage, with all this gravel that you have here, I would imagine that this is probably flooded out too. Where my truck is parked is a little path, and I bet that when it's flooded out, you can't get up through here. That people go through there, and that's why that little path is there. Just a great day. Man, did I say how great the weather was? And December in Tennessee. You just don't find this kind of weather typically in December, but I'll take it. Coyote poop. That's not bad for instant coffee. Oh, man. So I use the Death Wish coffee Keurig cups, and I really enjoy them. They're strong. They've got a good, rich flavor. So I decided to try the instant coffee. I usually use the Folgers tea bag looking things, and that makes a good cup of coffee. But this is great. That's good. That is good. I do take my coffee with cream and sugar. If you don't like it, don't care. Everybody is allowed to enjoy their coffee the way they want. So I take mine with cream and sugar. Oh, that's good. I'll have another one of these in the morning, but for now, this is great. It's starting to get colder, mid 50s right now. So the temperature's dropped pretty good. Pretty good, probably good 15 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees. The sun's starting to go down. You can't see the sun now, but it's still, it's still very daylight. Mm. I've accomplished relaxation today. I didn't have very many projects. The tripod was just something different I wanted to try. Mm. Oh, it's good. Ooh, peanut skin. I don't know why I keep setting it down. Oh, good morning. Wow. So that was some night. Not super exciting. I mean, I slept really good. Once I got to sleep, I slept great. I gotta hand it up. The UGQ overquilt, and then the so what I'm rocking with the Blackbird XLC. That thing is just always super comfortable. And I have the Wookie underquilt, and then the UGQ top quilt. That was just great. That felt good. I stayed nice and warm. It was down to the mid 40s, but it was 100% humidity. Now there's something nobody tells you how to camp in right there. I've yet to see. I've seen how to camp in cold weather, how to camp in wet weather. I've never seen anybody tell you how to camp when it's 47 degrees, 100% humidity. 100%. Can't make that up. It was absolutely everything was just covered in dew all night long. The inside of my tarp, anytime I would get out of the tarp, if I had to go to the bathroom or anything, or I was checking on a fire, my back's wet from rubbing against the tarp. Just everything wet. And now I get up this morning and of course everything's damp. Everything's just covered with damp because it's another overcast morning. It's not cold, so it was an interesting night. But like I said, I stayed dry inside my hammock with my tarp and everything. Everything stayed dry there. Right now it's 61 degrees, 73% humidity. So the humidity's come down a bit. It couldn't have got worse. And then the temperature's definitely come up. It's going to be another warm day. So I'm just going to fiddle fart and take my time. I'm not in a hurry today. I don't even have my shoes tied up yet. So I'll get this fire going and then see if I got any embers left over from last night. And then we'll fire up and have some coffee. All right. So my trick in the morning is that there's always embers left, and I can feel the heat coming off. So I'm going to see if I can get it to start with those embers, and I probably need to get some more tinder. So let me get some more tinder. So one of my favorite things for tinder is always dry grass, because even the stuff that's near the ground is damp, but the stuff that's further up, it dries first. It's really lightweight, it's hollow, so there's a lot of surface area. This is still a little more damp because of the humidity. So we'll see if I can get it to do anything other than just smoke a whole lot. And I need to find that ember first. There's a pretty good hot spot right there. There we are. See, that's burning red hot. And what that is that's just coals that have burned down. That's coals that have burned down, and the ashes on top have insulated it. There we go. I should have built a little log cabin around that, so that wood would have a better chance of catching, but I think I can make this work. So if you want to have a campfire in the morning, always save some small stuff for the next day. Don't throw it all on the fire and burn it all up. Always keep a little bit of the smaller stuff so that you can get your fire going in the morning. Preferably something dry. And that'll keep going. I'll keep nursing that. So here's a little trick I learned just through experience. If you don't have an ignition source, you have a problem. Man, the clouds are rolling in. I'm hoping I don't get rained out. Let's see if I can get coffee before all of that blows in. Wow. I haven't even looked at the weather report, but I'm going to start my coffee and then start getting things wrapped up. But here's a little trick that I learned. So I have my stove, and I found a lighter that it sparks. It doesn't light though. So it's still useful. And I keep it in my cook kit because you know, I can still use it to light that, and if I really needed to, I could use that to help light a fire. So your chances of finding a Bic lighter are actually pretty good. They make more Bic lighters than there are people on the planet. So there are Bic lighters just all over the place. They call them disposable for a reason. They run out of gas, people throw them away, but you know, they still strike. So go. December 31st. It's in the 60s again. Temperature's already up in the 60s. Tennessee weather. 100% humidity last night. Now it's, in the 70s. Temperatures in the 60s. My goodness. Yeah. If you hang out here enough, you'll just see all kinds of weather. It's quiet. The only thing I hear are a couple of birds. There's a plane flying up somewhere. I don't know that there's anywhere you can go that you won't hear a plane flying though. At some point, I mean, it's way up. Just gorgeous out here. I'm gonna have to take this shirt off. It's just getting that warm. And start packing up, but it's been a good night. Like I said, it's my third trip out here to Nolan's Landing, and each time it's there's always a couple of people that come down here, but not nearly as much as the other spot. During the weekday, I guess there's a lot less traffic during the weekday. It's nice that it's winter break. I don't have to work during the week, so I had a little bit of a break, and I wanted to take advantage of that to get some camping time in, and that's what I've done. And then, like I said, somebody even left me some wood. I've got 2 bundles up underneath the tailgate of my truck that I brought just in case. I just didn't feel like cutting up a whole bunch of wood. I've got a new saw that I tried out. It works great. It did awesome. But sometimes you just want to come out and relax. That's it. You just want to sit, build a fire. Building a campfire is probably the funnest thing for me with camping is tending a fire. I'm pretty happy with my fire building skills. And I enjoy it. Just a good day out here. That's it. Start getting some things packed up, and maybe if I got some time. What time is it? Yeah, it's a little after 10. Maybe if I got some time, I'll take a look. I walked over that way, and I walked out on the other little peninsula over there. Maybe I can walk around and see how far I can get up the other direction. Start getting some things wrapped up though in case the rain comes in. One thing I wanted to mention are these boots. These are Salomon Cross Hikes. These my wife got these for me. These are amazing boots. I love them. They lace up with these, I don't know, what do you call them, speed laces or whatever. These are just awesome. And the laces just tuck away. The laces just tuck away in these little kind of neoprene elasticy things. I just tighten it up, cinch it down, and tuck them under. And so one of the things I always fuss about is that nobody does reviews. People kind of do overviews, and they talk about what the features of their equipment are. Well, I'll tell you, if I were to give a review of these cross hikes, these are probably the best shoe I've ever owned. They're not cheap. They run about, you know, 175, I think they were, but, you know, worth every penny. You know, you buy once, you cry once. I've worn these out just into town because they're just comfortable to wear. They're super light, so there's no weight or fatigue on your feet. They're waterproof because they're Gore-Tex, so they're waterproof. And when I go to collect water, I can stand in the water a couple of inches so that I can get to, you know, I'm not trying to get water off that silty bottom. And, you know, my feet just stay dry. That's a huge benefit. Being able to lace these up so fast and then unlace them is a benefit, because at night I just slip them on and off. I don't have to worry about, you know, tying them or having camp shoes. If I just need to go check on something, I can hop out, throw them on, just slip them on. I don't even tighten the laces. I just walk around with them loose, and they do fine. But you know, these are just great. I haven't noticed them keeping my feet warm, but then again, I'm not really big on heavy socks. So maybe that's just my sock selection. But, you know, these things, I mean, like I said, I just throw them on and they're great. They feel super comfortable to walk around and lounge around in. But, you know, worth every penny of what I paid for them. You know, they've been durable. I've obviously not pampered them or babied them, but like I said, best shoe I've ever owned. If you were looking for a pair of boots, I wanted some higher ones up. I didn't want the low quarters. I wanted the mid, you know, kind of a mid boot. Awesome. You know, highly recommend it. Like I said, it's got great traction, good durability, great comfort, and then just really lightweight. So I just don't feel like I'm lugging, you know, 10 pounds around on my feet, and they just feel good. They're nice and cozy. So cross hikes, recommend that. Well, everything is packed up, and I don't know what time it is. What is it? Let's see, 11:30. So it's 11:30. It's in the 60s again. Humidity's starting to go up again. The sun's kind of out, but my voice is kind of scratchy today. Probably all that humidity from last night. I'm gonna go take a walk down here and see what's down here. I've never walked down this end. So this, you can see where the water comes up. You can see the water line comes up to the trees when the water's higher. It's rocky, and it is, I don't know, it's kind of sandy and silty. But I mean, there's always something to see out here. That's why I like coming out here, because there's always something new, something different. There's always another area to explore. There's 300 miles, I've said it before, there's 300 miles of shoreline along Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. So there's plenty of area to explore. And this just goes on. Wow. I can't imagine what it must have been like when people lived back here. And I mean, they didn't start clearing this out till like the 50s. You know, it was around the 50s and 60s. I think that you know, the Tennessee Valley Authority started building the dams as much as they were, you know, and so like Percy Priest Lake, you know, that wasn't inundated until what was it, the 60s, the late 60s? I think 67 is when everything was completed, and that was like 3 years before I was born. So, you know, there are people alive that remember living in these areas that, you know, we take it as, you know, these are natural recreation areas, but, you know, this is where people lived. Now, if you ask me, they're probably better off where they're at, because this was a very rural area with no services. So, you know, it was dammed up for a reason. It was also very prone to flooding. So, you know, we changed the landscape of the land around us. We changed the topography. We've always done that. If you look at, you know, the Mississippi River, look at any river in the United States, and if you go back, you know, 100 years even, and look at maps, the topography is completely different. You know, we've changed how they flow, how they run, and that's just progress, I guess. You know, that's wow. But, you know, in the process of that, we still save. Oh, it's getting windy. In the process of that, we still save and preserve a lot of these areas, you know, so that we have areas that we can go to like this, where we can go out in the woods. You know, we're not just paving everything over. And I think we're fortunate. I think we're very fortunate in that. You know, my wife and I have traveled to different places. We went to Rome. You can't find anything in Rome. I mean, everything is covered up. You know, they've been building there for centuries. You know, so, you know, it's a city on top of a city on top of another city that's been built up over the centuries. And, you know, out here, you know, we've got 200 years of history. Prior to that, the Native Americans, they didn't really change their topography as much. So it's only been in the last 200 years that we've started changing how these areas look and the world around us, but we haven't completely covered them up. You know, we've saved them, preserved them for future generations to be able to come out here and hike and camp. So, let me see what's further up here. Look at that. Crazy, right? Beavers just chewing through that until it falls. Wow. So we're not the only ones changing the topography around here. Nature's doing it herself.
bunch of old cinder blocks and tin roofing. I wonder if this was an old house or something that collapsed over time, or something that was left behind. But yeah, there's a bunch of, I mean, that's just cinder blocks, old cinder blocks too, just covered in moss, and a big long wall. I mean, easily could have been a house. Maybe the foundation. We use raised foundations out here a lot. We don't do slabs as much, so you see a lot of raised foundations with a crawl space underneath. And then when those houses are torn down, you know, what remains of that stone platform, if you will, you know, that's what you see. So it's very possible this was an old house at one point, or a structure of some sort. I mean, based on all the cinder blocks, that's what I would assume. This old washout. Wow. That's, with all the heavy rains that came through here a couple of months ago, I bet that was just running. Wow. So I think I'm explored out. I think it's time to head back to the truck and see about getting on back to the house. The humidity's coming up and I can feel it. The skies are still overcast. I don't know what the forecast is, but rain. It's been raining a lot lately. It didn't rain last night as much. It started and I went and put everything under the tarp. But you know, it sprinkled for all of a minute and then it just stopped. But with that humidity at 100%, I don't doubt it. I'm not really shocked by that. So, all right. Meander and mosey my way back to the truck. Everything's packed. Make sure the fire is burned down and everything's put out. I soaked it with water really good. I want to make sure that there's nothing but steam coming off, no more smoke or heat. And then we scoot. All right, let's get back to the truck. Which way is the truck? All right, I was almost back to the truck. In fact, you can see the truck right over there through the trees. And then this was just, this was right in the backyard of my campsite. This is definitely an old building or structure foundation. I mean, you know, square. I have no clue what this could be, but it looks like, you know, you've got 4 walls here. You've got 2 arms extending out. You know, and this is definitely, you know, this is old river rock aggregate. But then on the outside of that, there's another wall outside. And I wonder if, you know, this could have been a lot of things. So I like, you know, let's speculate. Let's speculate what this could have been. This could have been a small structure that somebody lived in. And then they expanded it by building out and adding rooms onto it. So these most likely would have held the walls, perhaps. I'm guessing. And then these would have been the outside walls. So this could have been, you know, the original foundation and then expanded. I don't know. If you know anything about this area, leave a comment or something. You know, I know a little bit of the history of Land Between the Lakes, but this specific area right here above Nolan's Landing, who knows, maybe that's Nolan's house. I don't know. But if you know about the history of this area and you have any idea what that specifically, that structure specifically is, you know, let me know. Say something in the comments. If you've been to this site before, you know, mention it in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it. I'm curious how many people use this. There's a lot of trees cut up here, so I'm thinking that, you know, this probably gets used pretty frequently. And based on the traffic that I've seen come through here, just on a weekday, I would say people come through here pretty often. But I'm curious. I'm curious what this will be like in the spring and the fall when the weather's great for camping. Not that this has been bad, but, you know, more traditional camping season. So let me know. Let me know if you've been here. Let me know what you think of the spot. And if you've seen any other spots, let me know. I'm here to share where I'm camping so that everybody has an opportunity to come out and enjoy these spots. That's what they're here for. Oh, I'm glad I didn't leave yet. I doused this with water, but look at that. Coal's buried deep. So I'm gonna go get some more water and finish putting that out. And then I'm gonna make sure, stir the coals around, make sure that everything's out before I leave. All right.